Hello, welcome to WealthX Africa. Welcome to WealthX Africa. We are expecting some people to join now. If you're out there, the link is out. If you're out there, the link is out. Welcome to WealthX Africa. Welcome to WealthX Africa. We are live now. Those who wins in life, they are not necessarily smarter than you are. So we are going to be discussing some of these things today on WealthX Africa. Welcome to WealthX Africa. Today we are going to be discussing about the importance of assets and liability redefined. So we are going to be discussing today about asset and liability, and then if you are online, join us. So as our mission to build, to committed to build system and create legacy. So we are live now. So we are still expecting few guys to join us. We are live now. We are expecting few guys to join us in the studio. We are expecting few guys to join us in the video. The way many of us define asset and liability is so alarming, and then I want us to do a quick review to asset and liability. Asset is what drop money into my pocket, and liability is what take money out of my pocket. So there's no better way to do that, and there's no better explanation to give it. So but today I want us to discover how we can literally define assets, not based on on an object. Asset is not a thing. Asset is not, you cannot just call a thing an asset without defining the fundamental economic related to that thing. And then you can say that asset is a thing, but how does that thing relate to money, and how does that thing gives you some things? So we can say asset is something that drop money into my pocket, and liability is something that takes money out of my pocket. So those are the just two basic things of how to define asset and liability. And if it is not defined in that way, I don't think we are into something. So give me a moment, please. So asset is what puts money in my pocket, and liability is what take money out of my pocket. So if you want to define asset, asset is something that drop money into my pocket, and liability is something that take money out of my pocket. That's the thing that we want to do today, and I'm going to base it on how we are relating to everything that we are doing. So can I call a car an asset or a car a liability? In general terms, you can see that many people call car a liability, and some people say car an asset. So we're going to do something about that today. Is your car an asset or your car is a liability? Is your house an asset or your house a liability? So there are many things that people call asset that is liability, and also there are many things that people call liability and is an asset. And there's something can act as a liability for someone and also act as an asset for another person. So that's why the concept of asset and liability is not a thing. It is how you use a thing. It is how money is related to a thing. So that is why I'm trying to let us know about it. So asset is something that drop money into my pocket. My marker is not writing well. I don't know. So asset is what drop money in my pocket, and liability is not something that take money out of my pocket. Disregard the marker. We are going to go on. So how can a car be my asset and how can a car be my liability? There are two different ways that your car can be your asset. I remember a few years ago, like before COVID-19, I was driving Uber with my car, and that Uber, I'm making money with my car. So you cannot literally tell me that a car is a liability in that regard. Why? Because I'm using that car to make money. So a car is not a liability in that regard. But for someone that doesn't really make money with that car, maybe your working place is very close to where you live, you don't really need a car for where you are doing work or something, it may be a liability. But more often than not, in Nigeria of today, the car is being positioned more to be an asset, because we don't really have a very good transportation system in Nigeria. And then if you factor in some of the things that happen around, you see that we are moving towards a car being an asset more than a liability. So that is what is going on nowadays. So we are going to review some of the things that an asset and some of the things that are liabilities. And many people say car is an asset, house is an asset. Yes, I believe that house is an asset in some regard, but it depends on who owns the house. If the house is owned by the aged person, I mean that something 50 years and above, the house can be your asset. And then if it's owned by someone that is a little bit lesser, it's also an asset. It now determines what kind of money is flowing into your pocket. Because if you own a house and the house is basically giving you like 1% or 2% of the total cost of that building per annum. So there's a way you can reposition that asset to bring in more asset, but your house is an asset at some point, and then your house can still make you to get leverage into some of the things that we'll be discussing today. So today we're going to discuss about asset and liability as a part of building creating building system and creating legacy. We want to just start with this foundation of understanding your asset and liability, because if you don't understand your asset and liability, you will not know what to add to your bag and what you remove to your from your bag. So knowing the difference between asset and liability will help us to know what you are going to add to your bag and what you are going to remove from your bag. These days I find so many things that are assets, and I find so many things that are liability, but people don't really know it. So buying an expensive phone without using the full functionality of that phone is a liability. That is it. So buying an expensive phone your phone can be an asset, and then your phone can be a liability. Your phone can be an asset and your phone can also be a liability. So when you are chasing trend, you are chasing the update of the manufacturer. iPhone 16 come out, you went straight to buy it. iPhone 17 went straight to buy it without using the phone for something that makes more money. That is when people are making it a wrong decision in buying. So your phone can be an asset and your phone can also be a liability. How can your phone be an asset? How can your phone be an asset? Let anyone ask me. Tell me. Can someone tell me here? How can your phone be an asset? So for people that use their phone to do content creation now, your phone for content creation, for content, your phone for phone editing, your phone for customer relation, your phone for making videos, your phone for freelancing. Yes, those are the ways that your phone can make more money into your pocket. And the biggest machine that everybody can carry into their pocket now is your phone. And that same phone can be an asset and also be a liability if you don't know how to use it. So if you don't know how to use your phone, it can position itself to be an asset, and your phone can position itself to be a liability. So many phones have been keeping updating year after year, and some of those features you don't need it. But some people throw money to get new phones just to oppress people that don't care about them, and that phone fall into liability to show off. So only thing that you use phone for is to show off. That phone become a liability in that case. So when phone you don't use all the functions that makes that phone to be expensive, that makes the phone to fall into the category of liability. So I used to talk to people that your phone can optimize everything that you are doing in life. And some people, they are complaining of not making enough money. They don't have product that they are selling. They don't have any service that they are rendering. And some of them even have one or two things that they can market, but they depend on the people in their locality, and they have a phone that can reach a customer 10,000 kilometers away, but they are not using it. Why? Because the phone was positioned to be a liability for them. They are not using it. They are not maximizing the functionality of the phone. They are not maximizing it. So how can you maximize the functionality of your phone? Many phones nowadays can do basic video editing. Many phones nowadays can post on social media. Many phones nowadays can update your status. Find something that you are selling. If you are using big phones and you are not making money with your phone is a liability. That is the best way to put it. You are not making money with your phone is basically liability. That is it. Why? Because liability is what takes money out of your pocket. So your phone will take money out of your pocket. You buy data. You buy data. With your phone, you buy data. And then if you buy data with your phone, many people, because they bought phone, and then the phone is constantly using to surf social media. They want to see the bottom of the Facebook, and they want to see the bottom of TikTok. They are basically using that phone. They are not using it for what the phone is meant for. So the phone will take data from their phone. They will subscribe to the phone. You can't have a big phone without data, and then you can't have a big phone without having internet on it. But some people, there's a way you go to social media. You go to get information. You go to get smart in what you are doing. You go to get additional knowledge based on what you are trying to figure out. Someone told me that he wants to start learning how to make some video clip with AI. Then the person got to ask me that what can I do. I told her some AI tools, but I don't have time to put her through. And then because of the time that I don't have, the person just resolved back to her phone. She began to make some AI tools on her phone, some video clips and many things. And then after 2 weeks, you could not imagine what this person did with phone, that same phone. And then someone will sit down with the phone on TikTok, and they'll be doing TikTok live, showcasing their goods, showcasing many things that they are having on their store, and they are making 6, that same phone. Some will take that phone, do video editing, just do a small video editing on that same phone, and then send. Not everybody will have camera like the one we have in studio like this to do video. Not everyone will have that kind of camera, but your phone can do up to 80% of any content creation that you can do. But are you using it? Are you using your phone? That's one thing I would like us to talk about regarding that. So your phone can position itself to be a liability and also an asset. Your phone can position itself to be a liability and also an asset. So asset is what makes money, and liability is what takes money out of my pocket. So I would like any one of us to tell us 1 or 2 assets or 1 or 2 liabilities that you know. Asset, liability. Okay, what about any assets? Any liability? Yes, so there are many things that you can position in asset and liability, but the simple question is, does that thing make more money to you, or does it take money out of your pocket? So we are going to the second lesson that we are going to do today. Who is a builder? Who is a builder? Who is a builder? So the builders are the one that create. So when you come to Lagos, or you go to any developed city in Africa, you see that many of them have maybe skyscraper. Many of them have many things that you have in common. You go to Accra, Ghana, you go to Kumasi, you go to Lagos, go to Abuja, Joburg, and many places there. You see that the builders are the one that shape the skyline. The builders are the entrepreneurs. The builders are the people. the people that are creating something that making people to see. So, and then the builders are not just there, they see something that every other ones don't see. They see before every other one, they move before certainty, they position before opportunity, and they own when the value was so small. So the builder owns when the value was so small. So that is the attribute of the builders. And then if you want to be a builder, you want to build system, you need to have this understanding of how to build when nobody cares, how to build when no one is watching. So that is the characteristics of a builder. The builder see. That's the first attribute of a builder. The builder see. They see. That is it. The builder see. Now, when you look at the Bible in Genesis 15, God called out Abraham and showed him that look at the sky. This is how your descendants will be. So what Abraham is literally, what God is trying to make Abraham to see is that, okay, if you can see it, you can have it. So, and that is the first attribute of a leader. A leader see. Leaders see, and when they see, and there's one thing to see, and there's another thing to move. So the builder doesn't stop there, they move. The builders see, and they move. So what are those things that you already saw? Maybe in your dream, you already saw that if I can do this, if I can do this, if I can do this, maybe I will have this. But you are stuck, you are not moving. Maybe because of fear. You are stuck, you are not moving. Maybe you want to see like 95% clarity. You want to see 10 years clarity from now. You are not moving. Life is not moving like that. So you have to move. You have to move without certainty. You don't need to see everything. You don't need to know everything. So when you have the information that you need for you to move forward at that particular point in time, the road to destiny is equipped with motion sensor lights. Recently, I went to a mechanic shop and I fixed my car headlamp. So it was so bright that if I flash you during the day, you will notice that someone is coming behind you. But there's something that shocked me. A few days after I changed my light, I was driving home from work at night, and the light was so bright. So something occurred to me. No matter how bright this light is, I can never see my house, but I can see few kilometers ahead. So for me to be able to get to my house, I need to do two things, and those are the things that leaders does. So the leaders, because they saw where they are going from their mind, they are not seeing it physically, they are seeing it in the inner eyes. They are seeing it. So what happens to the leader? Because they saw their destination in their mind, just like the way I saw my house. I know how my house look like, and I know the road, but I cannot see from that same spot that I was. So, and my car was equipped with one of the brightest headlamp, but I cannot see more than few meters away. So I need to have number one, focus. I need to have focus. I need to be focused on the road. Focus on the road. And number two, I need to move. Those are the two things that unlock me to get to my destination. Number one, no matter how the headlamp is bright, if you are not keep focusing on the road and you are not moving, you cannot get to your destination. And that thing applies to almost everything in life. So no matter how your goals, how your ideas, no matter how good they are, if you write some business proposal, they will try to tell you, okay, what are the risks in your business proposal? What are the risks, so that we can mitigate it in advance. Okay, the good business proposal, they will try to mitigate risk one way or the other. But I'm telling you, if you are executing that proposal, you will still see something that are not factored into the business proposal. And that is to tell you that there's no way you can see everything. So why don't you move with those information we have? So many people will wait until they graduate before they start business. Maybe students, you wait until you graduate, and some people they will wait until they retire from work. And some people, you are waiting, you don't move. You have to move. The builders, they move without certainty. They move when they have some information that is not 100% clear, but they move. Why? Because they know that motion sensor light needs to activation by movement. So if you see motion sensor light, you see that if you don't move, the light is not on. But as far as you keep moving, the light will be shining on. So, and as far as I was driving my car and I'm seeing some few kilometers away, it guarantees that if I focus on the road and I keep moving, I will get home. And that is it. Your vision is your home. Your vision is the pathway to your destination. And if you don't move, you don't focus on your vision, you cannot get to your destination. And that is it. So how many of us are we aware of where we are going to? The problem is that many of us, we don't actually aware of where we are going. If I ask you a question now, what is your goals in life? What do you want to become? So in 10 years, in 5 years from now, where do you see yourself? Many people, they cannot put it down in one statement. In 5 years, where do you want to see yourself? Just single line. In 10 years, where do you want to see yourself? Until you begin to tackle all those fundamental questions that align with where you are going, you may not understand how to really go about your life. Yes. And there are many things that you need to add up to your life now that you are not even adding it. Why? Because you don't have the destination in mind. So the leaders, they have the destination in mind and they work towards that destination, and they ensure that everything they are doing, they are working towards the destination. I used to tell some people close to me that I hope the way you are current about everything going on in Nigeria, I hope you current about your life like that. Yes. So you current about everything going on social media, you are so current about it. You are not a builder. Why? Because there's no way you can current about those situations that you'll be very, very current about your own life. Yes. So are you current about those things? And as you current about those things, I hope you are current about your goals, you are current about your vision. Why? Because you need to understand that when you are going to a place, you need dedication and you need to keep moving as you are focusing on the goal. So are you focusing on the end line? So those are the things that the builders do. So what did I say? The builders see, number one, and number two, the builder movement / focusing on the goal. No, I used to tell a story of how I moved down to Lagos, and that story is one of the remarkable stories of what happened to me. But you have to understand that many things will not move until you start moving. That money that you need, you will not start making it until you start moving. That career that you want to build, you will not start doing anything until you start moving. Many things will not unlock until you start moving. Many people will want to have that thing before we start moving. No, life doesn't work that way. So the way life works is that you move and things will unlock. You move, things will unlock. You move, things will unlock. You move, things will unlock. More things will unlock. More milestone will be unlocked. More level will be unlocked as you are moving. You'll be learning on the way. And sometimes you fail, you still learn on the way. And sometimes you fail, you still learn on the way. And sometimes you fail, you evolve to better version of yourself, and you move. You fail, you evolve to the better version of yourself, and you move. And that is how life is built on. You keep moving, and you keep building, you keep failing forward. That is what is called failing forward. So another thing that I will say about the builder is the position. The position before opportunity. You know, People underrate positioning. People underrate positioning, and positioning is one of the best way for you to get to where you are going to. Yes, positioning is one of the key things that you need to understand, because no matter how your idea is bright, if you are not positioned in the right place, your idea may not, someone told me that if you drove a Ferrari in village, they may not know the value of the Ferrari, but if you drove for Okada in the village, they may know the value. Why? Because Ferrari was positioning Ferrari in the village. That is not the right place for the Ferrari, and Okada may not be the right place in the city. So positioning is the key, and if you are not positioning yourself where it matters, you may not be found, and your ideas may be the brightest idea, and if you are not positioned, you may not be found. That is it. When I read about Elon Musk, this guy started in South Africa. He went to Canada from South Africa, and then from Canada he did something remarkable. He moved to the close country, which is US. This guy, before he started building, he positioned himself first. Before he started building, everything that he was building, as he was building, he was positioning himself. As he was building, he was positioning himself, until he get to where he knows that what he wanted to build, this particular place can nurture whatever things that I want to build. That's why in Genesis 12, God called out Abraham, and God called us out of the father's house to the land that I will show you. That is called positioning. Yes, sometimes you need to leave your father's house. Sometimes you need to live where you are living now. I'm not saying you should just go out to nowhere. No, don't go out to anywhere if you are not leading. But positioning is the key. People that are close to me, they know that I used to say that there's difference between Lagos and Lagos State. That's according to my own geographical map. Lagos and Lagos State is different, and then there's some things that you are still in Lagos State. People call it Lagos, but for me it's Lagos State, and because you are doing those things there are some things that may not be happening. Why? Because you are not in the right position, and there are some things that you need to do while you are in real Lagos, that when you do it in outside Lagos, which is called Lagos State, you may not get your result. I get to understand this while I was driving Uber, and then I get to know that many people call themselves Lagosians, but there are different languages in every ones that live in one particular place, in one particular location. For instance, let me give you an instance. If you pick anyone, that time I usually notice that if you pick anyone from Ikoyi and they are going to airport, especially international airport, if you listen to their conversation, they will say, okay, last week I'm in Singapore, week before last I'm in US, I want to quickly do one meeting in UK, and then before the next month I'll come back to Nigeria. That is their conversation. People, if you pick anyone from Ikoyi, that's what you listen to. But if you move to Lekki to from Aguge, Chevron side, you pick someone that are going to international airport, you know what they will tell you? Oh, this Nigeria is bad. I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back. Yes, no, I'm not coming back. So you discover that where people live determine their language. And if you pick someone, maybe any part of Lagos State, they are going to national airport, the same thing. They will tell you they are not coming back. So I get to understand that there are some certain set of people living in some certain set area, even in this Lagos, and where they live change their language. Yes. Why? Because there are some certain kind of wealth that they have, that they can afford to live where they are living. And because of that wealth that they can afford to live where they are living, they cannot go abroad and stay there. Why? Because the people that goes abroad and stay and never come back, many of them are middle class. Yes, that is it. The rich one, they don't go there and stay for long. No, if they go there, they do whatever they need to do and come back. That is the rich one. But the middle class, they want to go and find the greener pasture. I'm not saying go there to find greener pasture is not good. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that I cannot find myself abroad tomorrow. I'm not saying that. But where people lives. While I was driving Uber, I tend to understand that many of us call ourselves Lagosians, but what we do is very different. So positioning is the key. As a leader, as a builder, you need to position. So when you position, what do you do next? You build. You don't just position and think that things will happen to you. No, you don't just position and think that things will happen to you. When you position yourself in place of opportunity, you start building. Let's go back to that Elon Musk story. So he and one of his friends, they noticed that the cost of sending supplies to space station is so cost, and government are not looking into it, and they start asking one of the fundamental questions that many people don't ask. People know that they have problem, but nobody is working on it. They have problem and nobody is working on it, and they began to ask that question: what if someone built a space rocket? And they began to check into offices, and they saw that a lot of bureaucrats, they are on it, they are not even finding any solution to it. And they say, okay, what if we build it? And then they started their prototype. They rent some of those things from Russian, and Russia, when Russia knows that they want to build something that can compete with them, they increase the price. And what happened? They noticed that the reason why sending supplies to space station is they don't have reusable space rocket. So whenever you launch a rocket, at the end of the day, it will crash to the ocean, and then you start building another one to send next time. So there's no reusable space rocket, and that is what it focuses on. How can I build something that I can reuse over time? And what happens after he positioned himself in US? He started building, and that's why you can see the way he was building so many things. So Elon Musk defies the saying that jack of all trades, master of none. That is not Elon Musk, because there's a convergence into what he was building. He was building so many things, but all of those things have a connection in one way or the other. So you can still build many things if they have a way to link together. I think you are still in the right model. The way Dangote build sugar, build many things, and then all of those things are coming together now, right? So if you position yourself, you can still start building. If you position, you start building. Position, you start building. And that is one of the things that leaders taught. You position, you start building. Once you position yourself, you start building. So builders build when nobody sees them. So they build when nobody sees them. I see one of the reels of Elon, that's there, like less than 20 years ago, and people are asking him his name. Well, who are you? Well, can you tell us about yourself? He was building and nobody noticed. So what are you building in your life? That's the question. Forget about Elon. About you. What are you building? What are you focusing on? Many people are not building anything. They were thinking building is where you are working in a place. No, you can work in a place, but have something that you are building. This time, there's no excuse. Everybody can build anything now. We are in information age now. We are in imagination age. If you can imagine it, you can create it. Don't tell me you are not building anything. Don't tell me I'm not doing anything. Don't tell me I'm working 24/7. Even inside traffic, you can still build some things when you are coming home or where you are going. The thing is that you are not imagining it. If you can imagine it, you can build it. How many things are you building nowadays? So the builder builds when nobody sees them. And the last thing, no, that's not the last thing. The builders, they do what? They owns. When the value was so cheap. They owns when the value was so cheap. So this is the secret of many real estate developers. That's their secret. They owns when the value was so cheap. They will just go to a remote area, buy some land, a very ridiculous price, put a gate there. Some of them put half fence, and then they do the survey on the land, and they start selling it again, without even any development, without even any road network, without even anything. They start building. they start selling. Why? Because the homes when the value was so cheap. And this is the secret of so many people. Well, they started building when the value was so cheap, and the homes when the value was so cheap. So how many of you, if I ask you that the price of fuel is 500 naira now, and tomorrow it will become 1,200, won't you buy it? You buy it, yes. But the problem is that many of us, because we are not planning for it, even when the opportunity comes, we cannot buy it because we are not saving towards investment. And at some point someone told us that that if you are saving, don't call it emergency fund, because if you call it emergency fund, something will definitely happen which is definitely going to be emergency, and we take the fund. So instead of tagging it emergency fund, target investment fund. And when you target investment fund, you know that whenever you wanted to invest, there's a way you refer to something liquid, and some way you refer to something that is not liquid. So part of the thing that is liquid investment is maybe when you buy something that you can quickly convert to cash within 24 hours. Those are the liquid investments. You buy anything that you can quickly convert to cash within the next 24 hours. I categorize those ones to liquid investments. But if you buy something that you cannot convert to cash within 24 hours, that is not liquid. At some point, you can even have some cash as part of your liquidity, because in a scenario, maybe sometimes the access to even access money is not even available. Yes, it may happen like that. That to even access cash may not even be available. So that's another thing like that. So you own when the value was so cheap, and then the builder, they pass on the legacy to the others. They pass on the legacy to the others. So the builder pass on the legacy. So my marker was not writing well, but I can see put us through the builders system. The builders see when nobody sees anything. They see as far as you can see, you can own it. And the builders, they move without certainty. They move when nobody, when you begin to doubt yourself, that is when the builders move. Immediately you begin to doubt yourself, the builders move in that regard. So the builder move without certainty. They position themselves for opportunity. On this positioning, I remember when I was driving Uber, for the first 3 months, I was just picking random passengers. So Uber keep throwing me to different places, some bad road, some good road, and before I can find my way back to the city, maybe it will take some time. Then I think, okay, I need to have a strategy to position myself around airports. So then I narrow down my trip. I remove another app on my phone, remain only Uber on my phone, so that I can be focusing on how to position myself. And then I constantly positioning myself in the airport. If I carry a ride that close to airport, I off my app, I go straight to the airport. Why? Because I noticed that as at that time, not even now that insurgency is making anybody that can even afford airplane, or you can't afford it, everybody is boarding plane, not now, like now. Then, so those that usually go to local or international airport are those that can afford it. So I now think that, okay, these people, they are part of the 20% of people in this Lagos. So let me position myself around those people. So that if opportunity can come, I will be in a close proximity to the opportunity. So that's my thinking and that's my thoughts at that time. So I was constantly shuttling between airports, Lekki airport, Lekki, Ikoyi. So there's no other way. I don't go. If you send me to any other part of Lagos, I won't go. So that is called positioning. And in that line, so it doesn't come as quick as I want it, but at some point, I think it worked out and I got a job through that process. So that is called positioning. Positioning is the key. So when you position yourself, don't stop there. You keep building. When you position yourself, you keep building, and when you build, you owns. So anybody that builds something, they are the one that owns something. Anybody that builds something are the one that owns something. So what are you building nowadays? What are you building? So, and then lastly, the person legacy. So in Africa, there are many things that we are going to do on this channel. So I beseech you, there are many lives that will be coming up. There are many things that goes wrong in Africa that we need to understand. In Africa, there are many things that are happening in Africa. Many wealth are not lasting so many generations in Africa. So the first generation built the wealth, the second generation squandered the wealth, and the third generation start all over again. Why are we keep starting over again and again in Africa? Why are we starting over and over again in Africa? So is there any problem? Is there anything that wrong with us that making us to be starting over and over again? I had a meeting with an investor, and he shared a story. He went to Italy and he met with a family, and the family has been in business for more than century, like more than 100 years. And he said that we started by brewing wine, and the man took my investor, took him round through their library, and they began to document how they are doing their businesses. They document it from brewing wine. They have hotel chain. So they just build business around hospitality, and the business is being run by the family for more than 100 years. And if you look at African people now, how many generations last 5 generations? How many words outlive even the founder? There are many stories that we can see in Africa now. Wealth doesn't last the way it lasts in other parts of the world. And part of the reason why this thing is happening, that I suffer, I don't want my children to suffer, and you just pass out the material things to those children. And you pass out those material things to those children, you are not passing out the intellectual knowledge, how you actually make that money. You are not passing out the skill to those children, and they went ahead and squandered the money without skill. There's 2 different kind of growth. Many people don't know this. We have graphitrophic growth. Graphitrophic growth, that is growth against graffiti, and phototrophic growth. If you plant a corn, let's say you plant a corn, the first few days, like 3 days, the corn will be extending roots into the ground, but you will not see a growth. Until 4th or 5th day, you begin to see the leaves. Why? Because in anything, if you want to build wealth, you have to build your root first. Because riches and wealth is different. The wealth is the root. You have to build the root. You have to build everything before you can be. Riches can be copied. You can copy rich, but you cannot copy wealth. Why? Because the riches can be seen. No, if I buy a car, you can go there and buy that car. But do you know how I make the money to buy the car? If someone have a jet now, and you want to copy the person may bought the jet with the 1% of its profit, and you carry your own 100% to buy a jet. Are you in the same lane? No, you are not on the same lane. So people that see both of you, they say, okay, you have jet, I have jet, but what is your balance sheet? What does it happen? What happens after those things? So those are the things that we are going to discuss on this channel. We're going to be discussing why wealth is lasting in Africa, and why people in Africa, we are not literally doing the way we're supposed to do. I think we need to call it a day for today, and we'll be going live intermittently. It will be announced to us maybe like 2 or 3 days in a week. We'll be going live, and we'll be discussing some of this matter on how to build system and how to create legacy. And I believe that as we are doing this on WealthX Africa, we are going to build the system together, and we have to create a legacy that outlive us. So some of these things that we are building it so that we can do it together. So by the same time, we are going to meet next week 2 o'clock, next week Saturday 2 o'clock, or PM, we are going to meet. That one is regular, and we are going to fix a day, maybe in the PM side, in the evening side, like 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. on weekdays. We are going to select 1 or 2 days. So if you want us to do the weekdays, your preferred weekdays, so I will comment the phone number onto this live. I'll comment the phone number to this live. So your preferred days of the week, you can comment it to that line. You can send DM to that number, so that we can select a day to be going live during the week also, so that we can be discussing some of these features that we'll be doing on this platform. It is not the regular YouTube channel, so we are going to be discussing something very, very important on this channel. And this is the first WealthX video. So my name is Leo Ladire, and this is WealthX Africa, and our mandate is to build systems and to create legacy. So see you in the midweek. We are going to announce the date that we are going to have another YouTube live. So don't forget, we discussed earlier today, we discussed about an asset and liability. And liability is not a thing, an asset is not a thing. It is how that thing related to the money that you can determine whether that thing is a liability or an asset. And later on, we ask the question of who is a builder. The builders see, they move, they position, they own, they build, and they leave legacy. So are you a builder or are you not one? So our mandate on this platform is to shape everyone to become a builder. So no matter what you are doing, whether you are working with someone else or you are working your own business, so we are going to be discussing. And if you have any question that you would like us to sit together, so just comment your question on this platform. Comment your question. We are going to attend to those questions in the next live. And then there's a phone number that will be comment onto this under this video. You can put your question direct to that phone line, and that is all about that. So see you next time. Bye bye.